Hello everyone, welcome back. Myself and Paul Kelly, preview mode. 3 of 3 fights, slice and dice. We've got 2 in the can already. We now come to the third, which Paul Kelly rightfully said off camera. I'm not going to do an impression of his voice, but he did say this is a cracking fight, and he's exactly right. It is a cracking fight. We're in the US. I'm not going to say anything else other than that we're in the US Hard Rock Hotel Casino in Tulsa. Paul's going to take us through it, tell the tape, and then we're going to get into some predictions. Paul, please take it away.
Yeah, thanks very much, mate. Looking forward to this one. And as you mentioned, and as I mentioned off camera too, this is a complete barnstormer. We kind of often give a lot of shit to the heavyweight division for fights not happening and stuff, and rightly so. But this is a cracking fight, obviously not for any world titles or anything, but just below that level. But it's a yeah, when people talk about a 50-50 or a pick 'em fight, this is as 50-50 as you can get. You are indeed correct. We are in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino this Saturday, the 26th, and we are, of course, talking about the main event fight between Efe Ajagba and Zhan Kossobutskiy. Quick tail of the tape, as we always like to. Ajagba, 17-1 with 13 KOs. He's just 29 years old, from Nigeria. Orthodox fighter, 6'6". He stands and he's got an 85-inch reach. You look at his opponent, the Kazakh in the opposite corner, Kossobutskiy. He is 19-0 undefeated. 18 big wins coming via knockout, 34 years old. He's a southpaw fighter, 3 inches smaller at 6'3". And yeah, as I mentioned, there's only just one time he hasn't secured the knockout in his 19 fights and his 19 victories to date. Before I get on to any questions, and I've got a few for you, Elliot, so be prepared, strap yourself in. You look at a Jagba and he's that one defeat on the record. Of course, came to fellow heavyweight contender, and it was a great fight on paper. It obviously came to Frank Sanchez, and that was back in October 2021. So no disgrace there. Frank Sanchez kind of regarded as fringe world level, one next in line almost for world title shots if the belts become fragmented or if he's called for a mandatory or whatever. He's there or thereabouts. Jagba's come again since the Sanchez defeat. He obviously won a UD there over Stefan Shaw last time out. Over 10 rounds, he won 96-94 on all 3 scorecards. So it was close enough. He's really only winning, 6-4 there by 1 round less, and it's a draw or even potentially a loss there for Ajagba. You look in the opposite corner at Kossobutskiy, and the best names on his record probably is Johan Dalpus, who fought Wilder, I believe, for his WBC World Heavyweight title years ago now. Obviously, you've got or everyone's favorite heavyweight opponent slash journeyman, Kamil Sokolovsky on the record as well. It actually took 10 rounds to stop him, nearly went points. He also got wins over Agron Smakisi and Hussein Muhammad. Probably not household names, but good wins there for Kossobutskiy. Both are huge punchers. 18 knockouts out of 19 for Kossobutskiy, 13 knockouts out of 17 for Ajagba. Is my first and foremost, Elliot, before I go on to my second question, is someone getting stopped out? Is someone getting knocked out? And if so, who is getting knocked out?
Well, first off, someone's getting knocked out here. Yeah, someone's getting knocked out undeniably. And you know what? I want to come to prediction straight up. I think Kossobutskiy's going to win this. I think he's going to stop a Jag. But I know he obviously gives up some like you said, in the physical breakdown there, in the eloquent breakdown. He obviously gives up a bit of height as well. But I just feel like, and also gives up, to my mind, the better record of the 2 men. But I just can't bet against the Kazakh. I just can't do it. I feel like he's going to stop him. Yeah, and I was just looking, obviously, the knockouts he has had. You mentioned obviously Sokolovsky, which was 10th round stoppage there, but the rest of them are like 1, 2, 4, 5, like early KO. So I think he's going to get to him. I do believe that, and I think it's going to be a stoppage somewhere around, maybe not as early as that, but I think somewhere around 6, 7, 8. I think he'll stop him.
Yeah, very interesting. And I thought we would maybe have a disagreement on this one because it is such a 50-50 fight, but I'm actually in total agreement with you, mate. I'm favouring Kossobutskiy here as well. And, he's obviously only been points once. And then you look, Sokolovsky is, he's I think he's retired now, isn't he? But he's a veteran and he knows how to protect himself. He knows how to go the rounds. Whereas you look at all of the other wins recently for Kossobutskiy, and he stopped people early enough when he's fighting opponents who are also coming to win and not just to cover up. And that seems to be when Kossobutskiy's at his best. And obviously, Ajagba will have huge expectations and will be expecting himself and his team will be expecting to win this fight. And, wouldn't put it past him doing so. We could both be wrong here. But I think that the fact that Ajagba will be going for the knockout as well, to play into Kossobutskiy's hands because, defense little guards more down. He's more open to taking shots back, counter punches and stuff. And obviously, all Kazakhs are just incredible, incredible fighters. I believe Kossobutskiy actually beat Britain's Fraser Clark in one of his last amateur fights as well. Um, Ajagba, I don't think he's as good a boxer either as Kossobutskiy. But yeah, I think this is someone's getting knocked out. I agree with you. Kossobutskiy for me is going to secure, excuse me, the KO, and I'll go mid rounds as well, just because I think a Jag will be going for it. But I'll maybe go. Oh, do you know what? I'll probably go maybe 5-6. If I was to pick a 2 round range, I'd go 5-6. I don't really see it being any earlier than that, to be honest. If it is going to come, uh, and it's not in the mid rounds, I think it'll be the later rounds. But I don't see this going the distance for sure. I said I was going to have another question to ask you, Elliot, and I do have another question for you, and I'm not sure if you will have 100% prepared for this one. So you better be on your toes. As a certain on the undercard of this, there is a certain fellow heavyweight contender called Jared Anderson on the undercard here. And simply put, my question for you is Anderson on the undercard because he's fighting the winner of this main event? And do you favor Jared Anderson to beat either of these guys, or would you favor the winner of this, Kossobutskiy, in your opinion, and my opinion too? Would you favor him to give Jared Anderson nightmares? What do you reckon?
Well, to be honest, I'm trying to slip on the ropes a bit there, Paul, but you are exactly correct. I think I think the undercard is telling actually. When I did look at this morning, I did look at the event and who was fighting the undercard. I did actually wonder that same question myself. So it would make sense, I think, for Jared Anderson to step in. Obviously, having recently, hasn't recently gone the distance with Charles Martin. And other names on his record, obviously being Jerry Forrest, another sort of standout name on his record. Do I think that Kossobutskiy would get to him? Yeah, actually, to be honest with you, with the power he's got and having seen Anderson struggle with Charles Martin, frankly, I can see him getting stopped. I think it's another one of those things where you just see I don't know, man. I've always felt like the heavyweight division, you pump in sort of fighters up to a certain level and inflating them to a certain way, but then as soon as they kind of step up to someone who's not essentially a tin can from somewhere, they're you see kind of where they're really at. I'm not saying that Charles Martin's a tin can, as everyone else on boxing Twitter, no doubt, agrees with me on this. Think of him as a king, as a royalty in the heavyweight division. But I feel like we really saw him within the kind of limit where Anderson currently is. So frankly, if he did fight Kossobutskiy, I would probably lean towards it. I'm not going to bet against anyone from Kazakhstan, so I'd probably lean towards the powerhouse of Kazakhstan to get that done as well. So I'm going Kossobutskiy KO twice in this video. I've gone Kossobutskiy KO.
You're going to tell me next that he would knock out Fury and Usyk? Is that what you're going to say?
No, I'll go that far, but I reckon he would. To be honest with you, I think it's one of those things where all those fighters from those regions as well. And I even like guys, I suppose, like Frank Sanchez, where you want to see him not these obviously from Kazakhstan, but you want to see those guys brought you into the mainstream and have these sort of fights. And I want to see heavyweights fight each other essentially. So in a way, if these guys, after they get sort of this fight out of the way, if they can then move up again and even fight, obviously Zhang's above that now, obviously where he's been recently, obviously tied up with Joyce, but even guys like Hergovich, all those guys, Gassiev, all those sort of guys, you just want to sort of see them fight. Otto Wallin in a competitive fight, you want to see those guys fight each other. So I'd like to see the winner of this fight, which I predict will be Kossobutskiy, thrown into that kind of level of opposition as well, rather than kind of scratching around, for names that we've not really heard of.
For sure, mate. I agree, and yeah, I think it is talent factor having Jared Anderson on the undercard here. Obviously not even that long ago that he fought. It was only is it even 2 months ago by the time this fight night he fought Charles Martin. That's pretty quick turnaround. I know he kind of wants to be fast tracked as well, up to the upper echelons of the heavyweight division. So yeah, a fight with I wouldn't put it past Kossobutskiy against Jared Anderson if Kossobutskiy is to win, or if Ajagba is to win. The winner of this fight against Anderson is some sort of final eliminator. Would not surprise me in the slightest. But yeah, that's all we have time for, mate. If you wanna take us away.
I'll take us away. So, guys, obviously, as we say, that we've got 3 videos most weeks we like to get done with slice and dicing, but we've got obviously action this fight we've broken down. We're also over in Poland, obviously, got Usyk Bar and then Baranchyk Usyk fights that we've also predicted on. We've had some repartee on those as well. Even if you feel like Usyk Bar's a foregone conclusion, feel free to check that out and enjoy that, and let us know whether you think we're humorous or unhumorous, or whether you think we're correct or incorrect. Coming on from that, obviously we've got other content, we've got other deep dives, we've got other written and digital stuff, hard and soft copy content on the channel, interviews with fighters, etc., etc. Please feel free to check that out. All that's really left to say for another week is to myself is obviously thank you very much, Paul Kelly, for joining me and giving obviously such an eloquent breakdown as he always likes to do, characteristically likes to do. And obviously again to you guys, continue to support us and watching this video. So yeah, thank you again, guys, for watching.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Speak to you again next week. All the best.